Yo, what is going on, everyone? My name is Nick, or the Notorious Fantasy, and in today's video, we're going to be talking about my week number 8 defenses to stream for fantasy football in 2021. Inside today's video, we're going to be going in depth into 5 different defenses that I believe you guys should be looking to pick up off the waiver wire right now. But before we can get on into things, I would like to ask, if you are new to the channel and you do end up enjoying today's video, to please make sure to hit that subscribe button down below. And whether you are new to the channel or not, please make sure to leave a like on today's video. It would help us out a ton. And if you'd like to follow me on Twitter, please do so at NotoriousFNTSY. So without further ado, let's get into my top 5 defenses to stream for week number 8, headlined by the Cincinnati Bengals going up against the New York Jets this week in New York in the Meadowlands. Week 7, the Bengals defense went up against the Baltimore Ravens. They had 5 sacks in that game and only allowed 17 points to Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens. So that's a great showing up against one of the toughest offenses, one of the best offenses in the NFL. This week, they go up against the Jets, who are going to be starting either Mike White or Joe Flacco. It doesn't get much easier than that for a defense. So you should expect that the Cincinnati Bengals defense is going to be one of the top defenses at the end of the week, if not the best defense at the end of the week. In week number 7, the Patriots went up against the Jets, and the Patriots defense is pretty solid as well. The Bengals, in my opinion, don't have the best defense, but maybe they're shaping up to look a lot better because of how well they looked up against the Baltimore Ravens. So last week, the Patriots up against the Jets, they had 2 sacks, 2 INTs, 1 fumble recovery, and 13 points allowed in that game. If the Patriots defense looked that good up against the Jets, you better believe the Cincinnati Bengals defense can do the exact same thing this week, and that is why the Bengals defense is my number 1 streaming option at the defensive position for the week. At number 2, we have the San Francisco 49ers going up against the Chicago Bears in Chicago. Now, maybe it's good news for the Chicago Bears offense that Matt Nagy is probably not going to be the coach in this game because he has COVID, and maybe that will end up helping out the Chicago Bears. But at the end of the day, the Chicago Bears have looked like nothing short of a complete and utter unmitigated fucking disaster offensively. This team with Justin Fields just looks so bad. Is it Justin Fields' fault? Is it Matt Nagy's fault? Are they both kind of complimenting each other, but not in a positive way, just complimenting each other into turning this organization into going deeply into the ground? We haven't seen that the Chicago Bears looked all that great thus far this season, and last week up against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers was genuinely hard to watch, and I don't even like the Bears. I just thought that that game was going to be maybe a little bit closer. Maybe Justin Fields could score a little bit, but that just didn't even happen. So week number 7, the 49ers defense went up against the Indianapolis Colts. They had 1 sack, 2 fumble recoveries, as well as 30 points allowed in that game. I personally thought that they had a pick up against Carson Wentz, where Carson Wentz just threw the ball right to one of the guys on the San Francisco 49ers defense as Nick Bosa was chasing him down. But I guess maybe that counts as a fumble. But whatever it was, that was a great move from the 49ers defense. But the 49ers defense lost that game. But I don't expect the 49ers defense to look bad in this game at all. I expect the San Francisco 49ers offensively and defensively to dominate the Chicago Bears. In week number 7, the Bucs up against the Bears, they had 4 sacks. They had not 1, not 2, but 3 INTs. They had 2 fumble recoveries, and they had 3 points allowed in that game. The Bears offense looks fucking terrible. It looks so bad. So at this point, just like I've kind of been poking fun all season at the Jets, stream the defense against the Jets, maybe we're at the point in the season where you need to start streaming every single week the defense up against the Chicago Bears. At number 3, we have the LA Chargers, the Los Angeles Chargers going up against the New England Patriots at home in LA. The Chargers had a bye in week number 7, so we're going to go ahead and look to week number 6 for their stats. Week number 7, so many teams were on bye. This week, we only have 2 teams on bye, the Las Vegas Raiders as well as the Baltimore Ravens. So things are going back to normal this week, and that's why we have a lot more choices to stream at the defensive position, because last week, things got a little bit dicey as we got further down the rankings for defenses to stream, whereas this week, that is not the case. So week number 6, the Chargers went up against the Baltimore Ravens in Baltimore. They had 3 sacks allowed, or they had 3 sacks in that game. They had 2 INTs, but they got blown out. They allowed 34 points in that game. The Baltimore Ravens eviscerated the Chargers. But again, that's the Baltimore Ravens offense, and in my opinion, they are very good. We've already talked about them in this video, but I still think the Baltimore Ravens are one of the best offenses in the league, even if they did end up disappointing up against the Bengals last week. but they get the Patriots this week. And I understand that some people may be overjoyed with the Patriots' performance last week. Oh, they played so well up against the Jets. The Jets only had 1 sack. They had 54 points allowed up against the Patriots. But to me, there's a huge difference between the Chargers' defense and the Jets' defense. The Jets got a train ran on them, basically, by the Patriots. Mac Jones gets it. Mac Jones is scoring. Damian Harris is scoring. J.J. Taylor is scoring. Everyone scored, basically. It was like Oprah Winfrey. You get a touchdown. You get a touchdown. You all get a touchdown, except for Jacoby Myers, who's just allergic to scoring touchdowns. At the end of the day, there's a big difference to me between the Jets defense and the Chargers defense, so I'm still very comfortable starting the LA Chargers up against the Patriots this week. But before we can get on into the next defense to stream, I would like to let you guys know that we have partnered with Yahoo Fantasy this NFL season to bring you guys some great offers. Check out our exclusive limited time offer, which gets you 1 free month of Awesemo Plus Platinum. To qualify, you need to be new to Yahoo. Sign up for an account via the link down below. Deposit and play. That's it. Yahoo will send us your name after you play in your first paid contest, and we'll reach out to you via email with your coupon. If you need immediate access, please email support@awesemo.com, and we'll get you set up today. You can also claim a free $10 below, which can be used to enter any Yahoo contest. Please make sure to use our DFS tools and projections specifically designed for Yahoo to give you guys your best shot at winning big. Please make sure that you guys check out Yahoo Fantasy. The link is down below in the description of today's video. At number 4, back on into the defenses, we got the Denver Broncos going up against the Washington football team at home in Mile High. Last week up against the Cleveland Browns, that Denver defense that looked really good earlier on in the season seems like they may be a little bit fraudulent. May not be the same team they were when they're beating down on really bad teams the first couple of weeks. But hey, they get the Washington football team, and that offense just doesn't look great. Last week, the Broncos against the Cleveland Browns, they had 1 sack and 17 points allowed in that game. Week number 7, the Packers went up against the Washington football team. They had 4 sacks on Taylor Heinicke, 1 interception, 1 fumble recovery, and 10 points allowed. While I think the Washington football team offense is fun, and while I think Taylor Heinicke is actually not all that bad of a quarterback, at the end of the day, all the statistics from the last couple of weeks show you that the Washington football team offense is a unit that you want to be using your defensive spot to stream against, because the Washington football team offense made the Chiefs defense look like the fucking 85 Bears, and we all know the Chiefs defense is bad. So I don't think the Washington football team offense is all that good, so I expect the Denver Broncos to have a solid showing. The final defense to discuss, this is where things start to get a little bit risky, and there are some question marks with this, but I think there is high reward with this play. And that is the Seattle Seahawks defense going up against the Jacksonville Jaguars at home in Seattle. The Seattle Seahawks on the waiver wires. Thank you guys all so much for watching today's video. If you did end up enjoying, please make sure to hit that subscribe button down below. While you're down there, make sure to leave a like on today's video as well. It helps us out a ton. Again, you can follow me on Twitter at NotoriousFNTSY, and please make sure that you guys go ahead and check out Yahoo. The link to all of that is down below in the description. I'll see you guys back again tomorrow with my must-start and must-sit running backs. I love you guys. I hope you have a great rest of your guys' day, and as always, goodbye.